So in this session, we are beginning with the study of diffraction of light. So we will begin with the definition, what is regarded as diffraction of light. So whenever a ray of light crosses a particular slit or a hole, then it have a tendency to travel in a straight line path. So what we expect is that when the ray of light is passing through a particular hole or a slit, that it will pass in a straight line path and will illuminate the center of the screen on the other side. But in reality, there is a possibility that the ray of light will bend around the edges and reach the points on the screen where should be the region of complete darkness. So this phenomena of bending or flaring of light around the edges is regarded as diffraction of light. तो इसको अगर अपने एक डेफिनेशन के फॉर्मेट में अगर अपने लिखें तो वी राइट इन दिस वे व्हेन लाइट passes from when a light passes through the edges of an obstacle, passes through the edges of an obstacle, it have a tendency, it have a tendency of bending or flaring around the edge of an obstacle, the edge of an obstacle, this is regarded as diffraction of light. This is regarded as diffraction of light. तो अब अगर अपने इसको एक बार अगर स्क्रीन के फॉर्मेट में अगर एक बार देख लेते हैं अपने इधर. So I am considering over here a slit. So we are considering a slit like this. So in this particular scenario, if I consider a plane wavefront which is striking this particular slit, then over here we say that the light rays which is falling on this slit will pass like this, the way it is passing, and will reach the other side. So if this is the wavefront we are talking about, so it will pass like this and go on the other side. So since we are considering that the ray of light is coming from very far away, so they are coming in the form of a plane wavefront, and then in the form of plane wavefront, when they strike this particular slit, which is having a slit width b. So over here, what is important to note is this, that this slit width b, which we are talking, is greater than the wavelength of light. So if the slit width is greater than the wavelength of light, then the wave front or the waves will pass without bending around the corners and will reach the point on the screen on the other side. But if I consider this same arrangement over here in this particular way, that this slit is very small or compared to the wave or comparable to the wavelength of light, so then all these plane wavefront which is going to strike the slit, so all these plane wavefront which is going to strike the slit will now follow Huygens principle, and in accordance with the Huygens principle, what is going to happen is that when this plane wavefront will strike this slit, then every point on it will behave like a secondary source of disturbance. So over here, the point which is going to reach this particular slit will also behave like a secondary source of disturbance, and then it will produce its own wave front. It will produce its own wave front such that its wave front will be spherical in shape. Its wave front will be spherical in shape. That is, it will be somewhat like this. So the wave front can be drawn in this particular manner. So the ray of light from here will bend around the corners. So traditionally speaking, there is not a possibility that this ray of light must go in this direction, but the bending of light will take place in such a way that this secondary source will behave like a source of a new disturbance, and then following Hygiene's principle, the ray will bend around the corner and will reach the places where there should be complete darkness. So this bending or flaring of light around the slit or the edge of an obstacle is regarded as diffraction of light. So over here I write that B is comparable to the wavelength of light. So if B is comparable to the wavelength of light, then something like this will happen, where the ray of light will pass or reach the point on the slit, where this point on the slit will behave like a source of a secondary wavefront, and then it will illuminate the places on the screen which would be region of complete darkness. So this is the first fact about the diffraction of light. The next thing that we are going to discuss over here in the analysis of the diffraction of light is the types of diffraction. So we are going to discuss about the types of diffraction. So we have the two categories of diffraction. Or the division of diffraction is done based on the location of the source of light, that is the coherent or the monochromatic source of light, and the screen. So based on this, we are dividing it into two segments. So we have Fresnel's diffraction taking place. We have Fresnel's diffraction taking place, and then on the other side we have Fraunhofer's diffraction taking place. So these are the two categories which we are going to study about: Fresnel's diffraction and Fraunhofer's diffraction. So if I first of all discuss about the Fresnel's कोई बात नहीं इसीलिए कहा था कि स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेना, पहला वाला का ले लिए तो रुको. So we are discussing about the types of diffraction. So in the types of diffraction, we are going to discuss about Fresnel's and Fraunhofer's diffraction. So on one side, we will be studying Fresnel's diffraction, and on the other side, we will be studying Fraunhofer's diffraction. Fraunhofer's diffraction. So if I discuss about Fresnel's diffraction, then in order to study about it, I am first of all drawing a diagram of Fresnel's diffraction. So in case of Fresnel's diffraction, I am drawing a slit and a screen. Now the position of the source and the screen is such that the position of source and the screen is such that in case of a Fresnel's diffraction, that they both are at finite distance from the finite distance from the slit. So they both are at the finite distance from the slit. And this is how the diffraction pattern is observed on the screen. So we have a source, and then there is a screen placed behind over here where we study the pattern. So I write over here under the Fresnel's diffraction, the diffraction in which, so kindly write it down over there in the Fresnel's diffraction. When the diffraction of light is analyzed in such a way, when the diffraction of light is analyzed in such a way that the distance of the monochromatic source of light, that the distance of the monochromatic source of light from the slit and the screen is finite distance apart, then it is regarded as Fresnel's diffraction. Then it is regarded as Fresnel's diffraction. In case of Fraunhofer's diffraction, so over here what we will write, in case of Fraunhofer's diffraction, the distance between the monochromatic source of light and the slit is very large, that is infinite, and the interference pattern is also observed on the screen, which is placed at a very far off distance, So the interference is observed on the screen, which is placed at a very far off distance. So in this case, both are infinite. The Fraunhofer's diffraction case, the distance of the source from the slit and the screen, they both are very far away from each other. Then such a kind of diffraction which we are studying is regarded as Fraunhofer's diffraction. Kindly note this aspect. Okay. So let us deal with the next aspect. So now what we are dealing with is now how is it possible that we will make the distance of the source from the slit and the screen very far away from each other. And the another important point which is to be kept in mind is that in our syllabus we will be largely dealing with Fraunhofer's diffraction. So in order to discuss more about Fraunhofer's diffraction, we are talking about the modifications in the setup for Fraunhofer's diffraction. So we are stating modifications in the setup for Fraunhofer's diffraction. So in order to understand this particular concept, that is the modification needed in the case of Fraunhofer's diffraction, we use a very basic concept of geometrical optics. So in order to understand this, I'm making this arrangement in this way. So the first thing that I do is I make a, so let us consider a slit over here. So this slit is an enlarged view. Let me tell you this. This is not the actual size which you are seeing on the screen. It is the enlarged view of the slit. And the screen which we discuss is on the other side. So this is the screen which we have placed on the other side of the slit. Now, in order to make sure that the ray of light is coming from a very far off distance, so in front of a source of light, which we take as a point monochromatic source, we fix a converging lens. We fix a converging lens. Now, this converging lens is such that the point monochromatic source of light, is placed on the focus of this lens. The point monochromatic source of light is placed on the focus of this lens. So if the ray of light is coming from focus or originating from focus, then they will become parallel to principal axis. So as a result of which, the ray which is going to reach here on the slit will be parallel to the principal axis in a way like this. So if I draw a collection of rays, so then this collection of rays is going to reach over here in a way like this. So they will strike the slit in this manner. They will strike the slit in this manner. And then from here, so now the first problem is solved. So now in front of this slit, it will appear that the ray of light is coming from a far off distance. So we have a plane wavefront which is striking the slit, which is illuminating the slit on this side. Now, in order to study the interference pattern on the screen, I am again considering a lens. So this time the lens which we consider is placed on the other side of the slit. And the screen is placed on the focal plane of this lens. So if I take this lens as FL2, so the distance from the slit and the screen is going to be FL2, where we are going to study the interference pattern. So in order to study the interference pattern, what is being done is that the ray of light which is coming from these particular sources of light will fall on the lens like this, and then they will converge at a point on the focal plane. They will converge at a point on the focal plane on a screen over here. They will converge at a point on the focal plane on the screen over here, where the interference pattern is being observed. So this is the point where the interference pattern is being observed. So they will converge at this point P on the screen, where the interference pattern due to these sources. Now, what are these sources? So every point on this slit is going to behave like a secondary source, as I already mentioned, from the Huygens principle, and hence the every point on this wave front will contribute to their own respective wave, where the interference pattern will be observed on the screen, which is placed on the focal plane of this particular lens. Now, in order to analyze the diffraction of light using this particular arrangement. So we are making the following mathematical facts over here. So we are understanding the analysis of diffraction. Analysis of diffraction. तो यहाँ पे बात को बड़े ध्यान से सुन लेना, दो चार बात पहले बता देता हूँ। डेराइवेशन बहुत लंबा है, हो सकता है ये क्लास का समय बीच में खत्म हो जाए, क्लास एंड हो जाए, तो तुम सारा इक्वेशन को साथ साथ लिखते जाओ। मेरा अगर मानो तो साथ साथ इक्वेशन को लिखते जाओ, और जैसे ही एंड होगा अपने फिर दूसरा सेशन तुरंत ही स्टार्ट कर लेंगे। आई विल नॉट गिव यू दैट ब्रेक इन बिटवीन, क्योंकि ये कंटिन्यूएशन में हो जाए तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। तो ये पॉइंट तक हो गया अपना। इसके आगे जब अपने करेंगे एनालिसिस, तो एनालिसिस एक साथ करेंगे। तो पहले बहुत सारा बात दिखा रहे हैं कि एनालिसिस करने के लिए क्या क्या जरूरी है, क्या क्या अपने बात मान रहे हैं, एंड देन व्हाट वी विल डू इज वी विल कंटिन्यू द नेक्स्ट सेशन वेरी फास्ट। समझ गए ना बात? तो चलिए भाई। So in order to begin the analysis on diffraction of light, the first thing that we are again doing is I'm redrawing this slit. The slit width is treated as B over here. Lambda is the wavelength of illumination. Lambda is the wavelength of illumination. The slit width is treated as B over here. And every point on this slit is going to behave like a source of a secondary wavefront. Is going to behave like a source of secondary wavefront. So these are the plane wavefront which is illuminating the slit that we have drawn. Now the moment these point reaches this point on the slit, so they are going to behave like a source of secondary waves. They are going to behave like a point of secondary waves, and the interference pattern is going to be observed on the screen, which is placed on the other side, somewhere here. Somewhere here. So over here, if I start writing the notable aspects, so the first thing that I write over here is small b. So small b is the slit width, or the width of the slit width. So this b is regarded as slit width. The next thing which I'm going to do is write over here small d. This is separation between each secondary source. Separation between each secondary source or wavelet. This is the separation between each secondary source or wavelet. The capital N be the number of secondary sources. Number of secondary sources. So these aspects must be kept in mind. Now, very interesting part over here which we are going to discuss. Suppose I give you a cloth and I ask you to cut it into two halves. So how many times you are going to run scissor? मतलब चाकू या कैंची अगर चलाओगे तो कितनी बार चलाओगे? जैसे एक कपड़ा दे दिया गया, इसको एक बार अगर काटें तो क्या हो जाएगा? दो हिस्सा बन जाएगा। तो एक बार अगर काटेंगे तो दो हिस्सा बन गया। ये सेम कपड़ा का अगर अपने बात करें ना, if I से तीन हिस्से में डिवाइड करो तो क्या करेंगे? 1 2। तो दो बार अगर कैंची अगर चलेगा तो तीन हिस्से में डिवाइड हो गया। So similarly, what I am trying to say over here is that if this particular slit is divided into n number of secondary sources, so over here I can write a mathematical statement over here in this way, that n minus 1 times of d is equal to b. So if d is the separation between each of the secondary sources, then n minus 1 times of d will be equal to b. And if I say that n is very large, if I say that n is very large, then I can simply write ND is equal to B. So this will be written as equation number 1. ND is equal to B. So this will be written as equation number 1 over here. The next aspect which we are going to discuss is about the amplitude. So we are saying that the amplitude of the light illuminating the slit is equal to A naught. So I'm writing over here, let A naught be the amplitude of light illuminating the screen. Amplitude of light illuminating the slit. Now this A naught is divided into n such secondary sources. So over here I can simply write that if A is the amplitude of each secondary source, amplitude of each secondary source, so then we can say that A naught is equal to n times of A. This will become my equation number 2. A naught will become n times of A. That is, n is the number of the secondary sources which we are discussing about. Now the next thing which I discuss is that if I naught is the amplitude of the incident light, that I naught is proportional to A naught square, or I naught is equal to k A naught square. So over here I can write that I naught is equal to k times of A naught square can be written as n square A square. And if I is intensity of each source, then intensity of each source will be proportional to A square, and I is equal to k A square. So k A square can be written as I, and I naught can be written as n square I. This can be regarded as equation number 3 over here. So these are the basic equations which we have deduced over here so far. So for the analysis of diffraction of light, I am considering that a plane wavefront is striking or illuminating the slit. The slit width is B. B is the slit width, that is the size of the slit which is comparable to the wavelength of light. Now every point on this slit is going to behave like a source of secondary wavefront. So I am considering that there are n such secondary wavefront such that the number n is very large. N approaches infinity, and the separation between the each of the secondary source is equal to small d. The separation between the each source is equal to small d. So considering these facts, we have written these specifications over here, that if A naught is the amplitude of light illuminating the slit, A is the amplitude of each source, then A naught can be written as n times of A, and then we have written intensity expression. So these aspects must be very well kept in mind over here. So after this, what we are dealing with is the way we are going to write or express our equation. So now we are moving to the next aspect. So now, since every point on the slit is going to behave like a source of secondary wavefront, so I am drawing it in this way, that over here, this is the slit we are discussing about. The separation between the point of these sources is equal to small d, which is going to interfere on the screen. And if there are n such secondary sources, so if I start mentioning them as the first one, 1, 2, 3, then the last one will be n and n minus 1 respectively, such that the separation between each of them is equal to small d. So if the interference pattern is observed on the screen, which is at a point on the screen, which is making an angle theta, so we are considering it over here in this particular way. So over here, post this, the converging lens will be placed and then they will interfere at a point on the screen. So let us say that they are interfering at a point on the screen, say at an angle theta from here. So we are considering that they are interfering at a point on the screen at an angle theta, where the intensity is a function of theta I theta. So for such a case, there will be a path difference between each of these rays, and to evaluate path difference, I'm drawing a perpendicular like this. I'm drawing a perpendicular like this. So over here, if I start stating the following aspect, so I can write that this is going to be y1, y2, y3, y of n minus 1, y of n. So over here, if I write the path difference between 1 and 2, then it is going to be d sine theta. So if this angle is theta, so this angle will also become theta. So every point will become d sine theta just like YDSC. The path difference between 1 and 3 will become 2d sine theta. The path difference between 1 and 4 will become 3d sine theta. And the path difference between 1 and n will become n minus 1d sine theta. If I calculate the corresponding phase angle, that is phi, so the value of phi 1, 2 can be written as 2 pi by lambda into d sine theta. So if I'm calling this as say phi, then phi 1, 3 will turn out to be 2 phi. Phi 1, 4 will turn out to be 3 phi. And phi 1 n will turn out to be n minus 1 phi. So these are the important points which we can deduce from this particular aspect, that each of this secondary source will have a certain path difference between each other, and due to the path difference there will be a phase difference between them as well, which is calculated as phi, 2 phi, 3 phi, n minus 1 phi, such that if I write down the following terms, then I can write it as y1 is equal to amplitude of each source A sine omega t, then y2 will become A sine omega t minus phi. It is having a phase difference of phi. Y3 will become A sine omega t minus 2 phi. And just like this, the yn will turn out to be A sine omega t minus n minus 1 phi. So these aspects must be kept in mind that we have come across till here. So y1 is turning out to be a sine omega t, y2 is equal to a sine omega t minus phi, y3 is equal to a sine omega t minus 2 phi, yn is equal to a sine omega t minus n minus 1 phi. So if they all interfere at a point, then at a point P, yp is going to be y1 plus y2 plus y3 till yn. That is, at a point P, it will be written as a sine omega t plus a sine omega t minus phi plus a sine omega t minus 2 phi. And then it will be written as a sine omega t n minus 1 phi. So we need to add all these parameters to obtain the expression for the superposition at a point P. So in order to add this, we have a sine series. So A taken common, we are left with sine omega t minus phi, sine omega t minus 2 phi. So this sine series is in the form of AP. So this sine series is in the form of AP. So in order to add this, I can simply write it as A. So over here, if I write it, I can write it as sine of first angle plus last angle. I hope you remember this formula. By 2 sine of n times of common difference by 2 upon sine of common difference by 2. So this is the final resultant which we are going to have. So if you remember this result, you can simply write it in this way. So yp can be written as a sine of n phi by 2 upon sine phi by 2 followed by sine of omega t minus n minus 1 phi by 2. So this is the expression that we have for yp. This is the expression that we have for yp. So we have come across this particular expression, that is after all the waves interfering at a point, we get yp is equal to a sine of n phi by 2 upon sine phi by 2 sine omega t minus n minus 1 phi by 2. So over here I express it in this way, that this expression is of the form a sine omega t minus n minus 1 phi by 2, where this expression is behaving like an amplitude of the resulting wave. So of the resulting superposition or the interference at a point P, this is going to behave like like the amplitude of the interfering wave at the point P. So over here I write this as that the amplitude of the interfering wave AR, we can also refer over here as AP. So AP or amplitude at a point P can be written as A sine of n phi by 2 upon sine of phi by 2. So this is the expression that we have. So now from here I can say that if this is the amplitude of the point P, then over here if I write about the intensity, then intensity will be proportional to AP square. So we can write hence intensity at a point P is proportional to AP square, that is IP is equal to K times of AP square. So over here, if I write it in terms of I times of Kp square, then intensity at this particular point, which is at an angular position theta, will be written as K times of A square sine of n phi by 2 square upon sine of phi by 2 square. So this entire expression or this entire box will be in square. So this is the expression that we have. Now over here I have already expressed over here that if A naught is the amplitude of the incident wave, and if A is the amplitude of each of the n wave front, then A naught is equal to A times of n. Then I naught, which is written as K A naught square, and I for each of them is written as K times of A square. So over here I can write that I naught is equal to K times of A square n square. That is I naught is equal to n square of A square. So over here we are having we are missing n over here on the upper and lower portion of this equation. So if I look at this expression, so we are not having n square over here and here. So we will multiply and divide by n square. So if I multiply and divide by n square in the I theta expression, so the I theta expression will take the form K times of, so it will take the form, if I look from here, K square n square A square, K square n square A square sine of n phi by 2 upon sine of phi by 2 और इस पूरे का square. So this is the expression that we have, and I naught is equal to n square A square. The n square A square can be written as I naught. So intensity at a point or theta can be written as I square sine upon n square is also there. Sine square n phi by 2 upon n square phi square by 2. So we are considering very small angle. So for very small angle, we are writing it as n phi by 2 ka square. So sine of small angle will be written as the angle itself. The n phi by 2 का square, तो ये जो expression है कुछ ऐसा है. Now over here I will express it in the form of the equation which will be written in the textbook. So I write that if beta is equal to n phi by 2. So if beta is equal to n phi by 2, now n and phi will also be expressed in this term. So phi can be written as 2 pi by lambda into d sine theta. So n by 2, this can be written as 2 pi by lambda into d sine theta. Beta can be written as 2 and 2 cancel. Pi times of n d by lambda into sine theta. So beta can be written as pi. This will be written as b, which is slit width lambda sine theta. N into d is written as slit width. तो ये कुछ बीटा का एक्सप्रेशन ऐसा आ गया. And this intensity expression can be written in terms of theta as I square sine square beta by beta square, where beta is written as pi b sine theta by lambda. तो दिस शुड बी केप्ट इन माइंड. उम्मीद करते हैं कि यहाँ तक सब लोग पहुंच गए. यहाँ से अपने अगर देखना स्टार्ट करें फिर से एक बार, तो ये एक्सप्रेशन हम लोगों ने निकाला एट अ पॉइंट पी ए साइन एन फाइव बाई टू अपॉन साइन फाइव बाई टू साइन ओमेगा टी माइनस एन माइनस वन फाइव. तो अगर इसको इस एक्सप्रेशन के फॉर्म में अगर लिखे कि एम्पलीट्यूड साइन ओमेगा टी माइनस फाइव, तो एम्पलीट्यूड का जो टर्म आ रहा है वो आ जा रहा है ए साइन एन फाइव बाई टू अपॉन साइन फाइव बाई टू. नाउ वी से दैट इंटेंसिटी इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू एम्पलीट्यूड का स्क्वायर. तो इसका अगर अपने स्क्वायर अगर करते हैं तो इट विल बी रिटन एज ए स्क्वायर साइन स्क्वायर n 5 by 2 upon sine square of 5 by 2. That is intensity expression is written over here in this term. So this is also done in the previous case when I introduced to the analysis of the interference due to the single slit. So we said if a naught is the amplitude of the incident wave and a is amplitude of the each of the secondary source, then we can write a naught is equal to an, and then the intensity expression can be expressed in this way. So over here we have written it in this particular manner. So this is the expression that we have now in majority of the textbook. अब अगर अपने किताब का बात करें तो किताब में तुमको ये एक्सप्रेशन लिखा हुआ मिलेगा कि ऐसा होता है. यही प्रॉब्लम है, इसीलिए मैंने तुमको कहा था कि आज वाला क्लास अगर कर ले तो तुमको समझ में आएगा कि ऐसा क्यों होता है. तो अब क्या है, अब तुमको ऐसा लिखा मिलेगा कि आई थीटा इज इक्वल टू आई नॉट साइन स्क्वायर बीटा बाई बीटा स्क्वायर. तो यहाँ पे लिखा रहेगा वी नो दैट. तो मैं एचसी वर्मा उठा के देख लो, तुम एनसीईआरटी उठा करके देख लो, यू विल फाइंड दिस रिटन ओवर देयर कि वी नो दैट कि ये ऐसा होता है और ये ऐसा होता है. एंड देन सडनली यू विल सी दैट दे हैव ड्रॉन द ग्राफ एंड देन द डिफ्रैक्शन जो है उन्होंने पढ़ा दिया, बात खत्म. तो इसीलिए मैंने कहा था कि एक बार ध्यान से पहले वाला क्लास को अटेंड कर लेना. इफ यू विल अटेंड द क्लास यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि ऐसा क्यों होता है. तो जितना बड़ा अभी तक तुमको मैथमेटिकल स्टोरी जो सुनाया गया है वो इस एक्सप्रेशन तक आने के लिए सुनाया गया है, वेयर बीटा इज इक्वल टू पाई वी बाय लैम्डा sin थीटा and I theta is equal to I square sin square beta by beta square. Over here the point which is to be noted is that I theta is equal to I square by beta square sin square beta. तो यहाँ पे एक बात तय है कि इंटेंसिटी का जो एक्सप्रेशन है वो इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ बीटा नहीं है. The intensity expression is not independent of angle theta but is dependent on beta, where beta is equal to pi v sin theta by lambda. तो इसी वजह से अपने ऐसा बोलते हैं कि जब अपने डिफ्रैक्शन पढ़ेंगे ड्यू टू अ सिंगल स्लिट, तो अपने वहां पे देखेंगे जो इंटरफेरेंस पैटर्न जो स्क्रीन के ऊपर ऑब्टेन होता है वो इक्वल इंटेंसिटी का नहीं होगा. तो इफ आई ड्रॉ द इंटेंसिटी पैटर्न ऑन द स्क्रीन, तो उसको समझने के लिए अपने पहले इस एक्सप्रेशन को एक बार और अगर देखें तो हम लोगों ने निकाला कि आई ड्यू टू थीटा इज रिटन एज आई नॉट साइन स्क्वायर बीटा बाई बीटा स्क्वायर, where beta is written as pi b sin theta by lambda. हम लोगों ने ऐसा ऑब्टेन किया है. तो अब अगर अपने स्क्रीन के ऊपर अगर अपने इस पैटर्न को अगर अपने देखना स्टार्ट अगर करेंगे, तो इफ दिस इज द स्क्रीन वेयर द इंटरफेरेंस पैटर्न इज बीइंग ऑब्जर्व्ड, तो यहाँ पे अपने एक बात तय तरीके से देखेंगे कि इंटेंसिटी का वेरिएशन कुछ इस तरीके का हो. This is the variation of intensity that is going to take place. So if I talk about the central maxima, so this is the central maxima that I have, where the intensity is suppose I naught. So we denote this as a point of central maxima. If I talk about minima, so I say over here for minima the value of this expression, that is this expression must be equal to pi. So that is, I can write over here that pi b by lambda sine theta is equal to pi. So pi and pi got cancelled out. So I get sine theta equal to b by lambda. And if theta is very small, then I can say that this is equal to b by lambda. So this expression can be simply written as, that is, if I will write it in terms of m pi, so this can be written as, this is lambda by b, this is minus lambda by b, this will become 2 lambda by b, this will become minus 2 lambda by b. Over here, this will become 3 lambda by b, this will become minus 3 lambda by b. तो ये जो है फॉर मिनिमा अपने चाहे तो इसको m पाई भी कर सकते हैं, रेदर देन ओनली मेंशनिंग पाई वी कैन राइट एज m पाई. तो यहाँ पे m का वैल्यू 1, फिर m का वैल्यू 2, m का वैल्यू 3 और पीछे की तरफ m का वैल्यू -1, -2, -3 हो जाएगा. इंटेंसिटी वेरिएशन का अगर अपने बात करें तो पहला वाला हो गया I नॉट, इसके बाद जो आएगा दैट विल बिकम I नॉट बाई 21 और इसके बाद जो आएगा इट विल बिकम I नॉट बाई 59. काफी किताब में अलग भी हो सकता है, I नॉट बाई 22 या I नॉट बाई 62 भी लिख देते हैं वो लोग, तो दैट इज ऑल्सो फाइन. तो ये पूरा बात आ गया अपने पास इस तरीके से कि इंटेंसिटी पहले तो यूनिफॉर्म नहीं होगा. ये हो गया विड्थ ऑफ द सेंट्रल मैक्सिमा. विड्थ ऑफ द सेंट्रल मैक्सिमा तो अपने क्या बोलेंगे 2 लैम्डा बाई बी. 2 लैम्डा बाई बी इज द विड्थ ऑफ द सेंट्रल मैक्सिमा. कि कितना बड़ा सेंट्रल मैक्सिमा बना तो विड्थ इज 2 लैम्डा बाई बी. एंड देन वी हैव दीज एक्सप्रेशंस कि पहला मिनिमा कहाँ पे है, दूसरा मिनिमा कहाँ पे है, तीसरा मिनिमा कहाँ पे है. तो all these can be calculated in this particular manner. So with this we come to an end of this particular expression for interference due to a single slit or diffraction of a single slit, which is also regarded as Fraunhofer's diffraction. तो Fraunhofer's diffraction में अपने को सिर्फ इतना बात ही जानना था which we have come across.